Oh my God. Okay, so I don't believe words can properly fully express how much loathing I have in my system, in my body, in the essence of my being for Scott Mendelson from Forbes. And the reason why I say that is because this dude is a troll. He is such a troll, but he troll shields Marvel and Disney and Lucasfilm to like the nth degree all the time, and especially today because he penned this little doozy. Why the success of Captain Marvel is terrific news for Star Wars Episode 9. Is it, Scott? Is it really? It's not. It's not. That means nothing. The two aren't even remotely related in regards to how they're going to see success. Now, his entire article, it's just a bit of a short one, but the thesis of the article essentially boils down to this: with the rip roaring success of Captain Marvel on its way to crossing $1 billion, obviously what people say on the internet had nothing to do with the way the movie was received. So clearly, Episode 9 is gonna be fine. That's basically it. That's kind of a load of crap if you think about it, right? Now, look, I'm not campaigning for Episode 9 to suck. I don't want Episode 9 to suck. I want it to be great. I don't want to leave the theater feeling conflicted like I did with The Last Jedi. I don't want to be on the drive home going over the scenes that make no sense in my head and then coming home and unleashing a tirade on the internet about why the movie sucks. Although, full disclosure, I made a fuckload of money off of that video. Like a fuckload of money off of that video. Like a fuckload of money off of that video. So there, I mean, like, that's not the point though. Like, I didn't want to dislike it. I didn't come out and feign rage in order to make money. I legitimately expressed how I felt. God damn. Seriously, god damn. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get through here is that yes, there are trolls on the internet that are going to be arguing against Episode 9. And they've been doing it since Episode 8 kind of did its thing. I've rallied against it quite a bit, obviously. There's reasons for it. It's a worthwhile subject to discuss. There's a lot of weird things that have gone on, and people are curious for the future about where things are going to go next. And that is all valid commentary. It is. Not knocking that at all. People want it. People watch it. People pay attention. Cool beans. But one can't deny, Scott, one cannot deny that there has not been a disturbance in the force in regards to the fandom coming out of The Last Jedi. You had people, yes, going to the internet and being very upset as a result of this movie. Very upset. Like, I came home and I raged. I went a couple nights later. I saw it again because I'd already bought tickets, and my brother and my stepdad were up from California. And so I took them to go see it because that was already the plan, because I get to hang out with my kid brother, which is like better than going to the movie, in my opinion. And I was more apathetic to it on my second time. A year on, I just can't bring myself to watch it. I'll get through it before Episode 9 just because I'm going to want to refresh my mind on it. But ultimately, the movie is going to rely on whether or not it is good. Captain Marvel's success has nothing to do with the quality of the movie. The movie is mediocre. The movie is bland. The movie has nothing at stake. Like, as far as writing a movie goes, this feels like it came across like from first year screenwriters. Like, well, what conflict have you given your main character? Oh, she has internal conflict. But what about external conflict involving her friends? Yeah, that's kind of there, but like not in a really kind of a meaty way. But at the end, she's basically going to be so OP, like no one's going to be able to get in her way. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go make that movie. Would say no one ever. The movie was as middle of the road as you can get. Not horrible, good moments, not great, still some good moments. But the success of Captain Marvel has come from a positive word of mouth. It has. It has come from a positive word of mouth, not to mention all the people out there that want to get a little bit of insight into Endgame. They want to get a little bit of insight into what's coming next. This is also the 21st movie of a 11-year film series that is showing no signs of stopping, slowing down, or ever giving up. My great-grandchildren will be watching Iron Man 28, The Return of Pendejo, and I'll be dead or uploaded to the cloud somewhere watching it with them. The whole thing, though, is that this is an ongoing saga of films that's coming into a very, very, very hotly anticipated emotional conclusion. It released 6 weeks before that emotional conclusion. It was released at optimal time in order to give people what they wanted, especially coming off of the cancellation of Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones. All of those shows being gone that Marvel fans love, this is what they've got. And it did well. Okay, fine. Star Wars, on the other hand, is coming off of a very hotly contested film, followed up almost immediately, 6 months later, by a middle-of-the-road, not anticipated at all origin story that a lot of people just didn't go and see because they didn't care. Now, I went and saw it because I cared, and guess what? I really, really liked it. I've watched it now about 4 or 5 times on home video. I really like the movie. And it's way better than Last Jedi, in my opinion. It's a fun, straightforward romp. But it was definitely hurt by The Last Jedi. And people are coming into episode 9 really, really, really wondering if it's going to do anything. Now, again, looking at just, the box office here, Captain Marvel is going to cross $1 billion. Everyone knows that. It's going to cross $1 billion. The big problem with Captain Marvel, though, is that, not the problem here, but it has the benefit, I should say, the privilege, if you will, of coming off of multiple movies to cross over $1 billion. Now, granted, Ant-Man and the Wasp did not cross $1 billion, but that movie was also kind of middle of the road. It was a middle of the road sequel to a middle of the road movie, albeit the first Ant-Man was pretty great. But people don't want to, they weren't interested in that movie as much because it didn't have anything to do with Endgame. This one is so close to the release of Endgame that people wanted to check it out, considering that Captain Marvel is in it, and we know what we know based off of Infinity War. So there's things at stake in regards to the fandom. Star Wars has had a year and some change since The Last Jedi, and people are going to want to see how the movie ends. They're going to want to see how the Skywalker saga ends. They're going to want to see what J.J. Abrams does to fix Rian Johnson's mistakes. That's what they're going to want to go see. So yes, the movie is going to open very big. Is the movie going to gross $2 billion? No. Is the movie going to gross $1.3 billion, which is what The Last Jedi did? See, that one, I can't tell you. Will Star Wars Episode 9 cross $1 billion? Probably. But I'm thinking it's going to be more in the low range, maybe like Aquaman, which is 1.14. It's going to cross over, but just barely. Which is not what it should do if this is meant to be the emotional, satisfying conclusion of this franchise. Endgame is going to cross $2 billion and then some change. I wouldn't be surprised if Endgame goes on to become the number 1 most highest grossing film of all time, because you have 11-year lead into this emotional finale that fans are emotionally invested into and have been for years. That movie will do very well. Episode 9, you've got a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of people that aren't happy with it. And they're the ones that are going to decide whether they go see it in the theater or they just wait for it to come to Disney Plus a few months later. So don't write an article saying why the success of Captain Marvel is terrific news for Star Wars, because that's not even remotely true. It's not even tangentially true. It's not true at all. They're not connected. That is, unless you look at their parent company. But you're trying to argue female-led movies versus female-led Star Wars. Star Wars is more than just the main character. Captain Marvel was the main character, and she was boring. But audiences seemed to enjoy it for some reason. So time will tell. But this article is just nothing more than shilling and trying to protect and virtue signal for Disney. Your access media, Scott. We all know it. Everyone knows it. But this article just 100% confirms it.